Now, let me hit you hard, President Tinubu. This is an aberration to democracy. A president signed a bill in less than 24 hours. Did he go through the Attorney General? Did they read it? What bill did they even sign? You see, these are the questions, and that's why I'm sorry, we have a good as dead opposition in this country. If we had an opposition that is thriving, by this morning, they should be the one running around filing court cases. I think this opposition should go and even learn how to do opposition from the APC, because they don't look ready and organized to me. Who looked at the bill? Who vetted the bill? Did the president himself read the bill that he signed into law? Or they just rushed it for him? And that's why I knew this was going to happen. That's why I was daring you yesterday that if he doesn't, I will dance Kelewu. Have they gone through the prideful process? What did they harmonize? What is even in the bill as we speak today? What was signed? Because this is the same country, Ayo, that we've had discrepancies between what was signed and what was gazetted. Till today, the National Assembly, this same rubber stamp National Assembly, cannot account for the tax bill. They set up a committee since December. It's only if the committee will bring out their report tomorrow as regards the contradiction of what was gazetted or not gazetted. That's when we will know. The National Assembly is not serious. They are not serious. I don't consider them as serious. I don't consider them as representing the interests of people. They are rubber stamp. The National Assembly that sings on your mandate we shall stand. I'm sure they were singing it to President Tinubu. On your mandate we shall stand. Jagava. Is that on National Assembly? The last time we had National Assembly in recent time, probably maybe under Bukola Saraki. So we have not gone through all of that. Till today, are you sure INEC has even seen what the National Assembly passed? The INEC that is going to use the law. What we should focus on now is to look at the guidelines. What will account for the provisions around having no network? What will warrant an incident form? We don't know all of those things in the guidelines. The INEC presiding officer can still send the election results. Can we account for timestamp in the guidelines so that even if there's no network there, they can still send the results? President Tinubu is talking about glitch. He's talking about trust, talking about transparency in a law that does not account for the people, that does not respect the views of people, that they are calling noise. Isn't that hypocritical? We already know that they are going to be shenanigans in this 2027 election. He's talking about glitch that only happened in the presidential election that favored him, that INEC has not been able to talk about till today. It's not only in the presidential election the technical glitch happened. Did it happen in the Senate and the House of Rep election that happened on that same day? So let's stop deceiving ourselves. Let's stop being hypocritical. Let's call a spade about this country, about the shenanigans that have happened. That's why we should weep for this country. And you know what hurts me the most? It's only people like us that are talking here. We don't have opposition. If we had opposition, they would have been filing court cases even about the procedures.
The new Electoral Law Amendment Bill 2026 was signed by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja after weeks of heated debates within lawmakers, CSOs and the public. The president says Nigerians must have confidence in the electoral system, but also warns that the country must confront its technical limitations, stressing the need to avoid glitches during elections. Speaking with newsmen after the ceremony, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Electoral Act 2026 amendment would ensure that every Nigerian's vote counted. Our State House correspondent Adesu Almoran reports.
After weeks of deliberation and public scrutiny, Nigeria's Electoral Act has now been amended, reworked, and signed into law. At the ceremony, President Tinubu says he closely monitored the National Assembly's work while urging Nigerians to trust the system.
I followed keenly what you are doing. The essence of democracy is to have, very solid brainstorming discussions committed to national development and nation building, the stability of the nation. It's not as important as the history aspect of this. What is crucial is the fact that you manage the process to the extent there will be no confusion, no disenfranchisement of Nigerians, and that we are all going to see democracy flourish. It is time that we have confidence in our system.
It comes after both chambers of the National Assembly on Tuesday took a fresh look at the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Enactment Amendment Bill 2026 after several considerations in the last 2 weeks before finally passing the bill and transmitting same to the President for his assent. Tinubu says what matters most was preventing confusion or voter disenfranchisement.
No matter how good a system is, it's managed by the people, promoted by the people, and the result is finalized by the people. In fact, for final results, you are not going to be talking to the computer. You are going to be talking to human beings who will announce the final results.
Addressing the controversy around electronic transmission in real time, the president was clear that technology must not replace human accountability.
And when you look at the crux of various arguments, maybe Nigeria should question our broadband capability. How technically are we today? How technically will we be tomorrow to answer the call of either real time or no? And as long as you appear personally as a manual voter in any polling booth, but ballot paper is given to you manually, you decide in a corner and fingerprint, thumbprint the party of your choice, you cast your vote without hindrance and any interference. Ballots are subsequently counted manually, sorted and counted manually. It's just the arithmetic accuracy that is entered into from EZT. It's the manual, essentially. The transmission of that manual result is what we're looking at. And we need to avoid glitches. I'm glad you did. Interference, unnecessary hacking in this age of, computer inquisitiveness. Nigeria will be there. We will flourish. We will continue to nurture this democracy for the fulfillment of our dream for prosperity and stability of our country. I thank all of you very much.
The Electoral Act amendment has been one of the most contentious legislative efforts in recent months. Civil society groups and opposition figures had pushed for a mandatory real-time electronic transmission of election results from polling units. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says the new provisions are historic, helping Nigerians detect any alterations of results after they leave the polling unit.
We took cognizance of the peculiarities of the country. We did not allow too much outside interference, and we're very patriotic in our submissions. And at the end, we believe strongly that what the president has just assented into Act of Parliament will make for a better election in the future, and will also lead to prosperity, and will also lead to transparency of the electoral process.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives acknowledges that the changes could shift the 2027 election timetable to January, but argues that the adjustments were made for greater good.
However, there is one area that I'm sure he forgot to mention, and that is the number of days notice, which was earlier in the 2022 Act, 360 days. Now we have seen the wisdom to reduce it to 300 days. And this will inadvertently translate to holding the presidential and National Assembly elections in January 2027. And that will technically avoid conducting election during month of Ramadan of 2027.
With presidential assent secured, attention now turns to the Independent National Electoral Commission, which must implement the new framework ahead of the 2027 elections. Adesua Omoruan, Arise News.